Hello, Lori Michelle, the Mashiach, exposing chinks in the armor. This one is for every headless chickens or godly souls. Will we ever heal this world? Are we ever going to heal the world? He says yes. Rabbis believe we're going to heal the world. Redemption, absolutely. But the way I view everyone is that you're headless chickens. There's an expression, chickens with their running around with their heads cut off. And I looked up why that's an expression, and I found out that if you cut a chicken's head off, they can live and run around before they drop dead. And there was actually a chicken named Mike, the headless chicken, who lived for 18 months without his head. And if you think this chink in the armor that I'm exposing today is disparaging people, I'm putting you down, I'm speaking evil, no, not doing any of that. I don't go there. I don't enjoy picking out the chinks in your armor. But when you look around the world and you see children dying, people dying, we die. We're born, we age, and we die. And that comes from evil. And if you don't want to know where it's coming from and what evil is lurking within you, well, you're being a headless chicken, truly. A chicken can have a lobotomy, its whole frontal lobe removed, and still walk around and exist. And that's what it looks like in humanity. You're all posturing and looking for excuses and blaming someone over there, blaming that group, blaming that religion, blaming white people, the white supremacists, blaming the liberals, the progressives. It's all their fault. Speaking evil. And there's goodness, godly souls in all of you, though we're hard pressed to see it in every moment, aren't we? And you don't see it in every moment in the enemy, that group over there, the one you're trying to remove from power, because if you had control, everything would be okay. And no, it wouldn't be okay. It won't be okay until we're all together and not being headless chickens and being godly souls, learning what the heck is going on here? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? And being willing to sit in an armchair, holding on to that armchair and letting grandma beat you about the head with love. Beat you up and beat it out of you to make you see, what are you saying? What are you doing? I love you. That's why I'm doing this. Not because I want to take you down to feel good about myself. I already feel really good about myself. I feel terrible about this world, don't you? So listen up. If you haven't listened this far and you don't listen to the end, you're a headless chicken, because I'm doing this for you, exposing a chink in your armor, in everyone's armor. I'm going to give 4 examples, and there are many. Every day I see headless chickens. And he says I'm right, but he also says that I'm giving you a major excuse. He wants me to get to that later. I'm going to get to 4 examples of headless chickens and see if you fit into any of these examples, because I'm sure you do in some moments. And when you spot it, accept it and start working on it. Are you ready? He says you're not ready. It's not bad enough yet. But for those of you who are ready, there's some godly souls who listen and you're ready. So here we go. 4 examples of how you can be a headless chicken. Number 1, here's an example. If you don't like who's in the White House in America, you're going to see this example. Oh, yeah, they're headless chickens. But let me explain what I saw. The White House had a Pride event. And I'm not even going to talk about Pride Month and all of that. If you study the Bible and God's laws, I'm not even going to go there. I don't even need to go there to point out the headless chicken in this example. Joe Biden had a Pride event, and a lot of LGBTQ, whatever, plus were at this event, and they were celebrating Pride Month. And there was this, looked like a woman, but it was a transgender woman taking pictures with the president. And the next thing you know, all over the internet, that same transgender woman, someone who used to be a man, who now identifies as a woman and has woman parts, took her top off and was topless and put it all over the internet, next to two transgender men who apparently used to be women who had their female parts removed, and they were dancing on the internet. So what was wrong with this? The White House is on record saying they're no longer invited to the White House. But I'm going to tell you why the White House and their response are headless chickens. And why? That used to be, when I was a little girl, called pornography, nudity. They were posing, this woman that used to be a man posed for pictures with the President of the United States of America, and then posted nudity all over the internet. Pornography. Yes, but you don't see that as pornography anymore. Or if you don't like the LGBTQ plus community, oh yes, that's pornography. Well, if a beautiful woman posted herself on the internet, someone who's born as a woman and she's a girl and she's naked online, and you're a heterosexual man, and you're going to think that's not pornography. So what? So what, Lori? Chill, Lori. You Bible toting prude, you. No, that's pornography. It has no place being in view of children and people. It's gross, disgusting. Care if you're transgender, or if you're female, or if you're male, or whatever you are. Back in the day, it was not allowed on television. Back in the day, when I Love Lucy was on TV, they showed their bedroom with separate twin beds. They didn't show nudity on TV. So the right response would have been, from the White House, legal action against those people who were posting pornography on the internet after having posed for pictures with the President of the United States. Anything less than that, I'm getting agreement from the King of the Universe, by the way. He says 100%. Anything less than legal action against the people who were posting pornography on the internet, he says it's not acceptable. You're a headless chicken. Okay, so that's the first one. You don't agree with me, you're gone. You're going to be a headless chicken because you're not listening to me. Maybe. Some of you are listening and you're going to listen right to the end, all 4 examples. Yes, and good for you, because I'm really talking to the King. And you don't know that right now. And if you don't listen till the end, and you don't keep listening to me, and you don't bother to read the Torah part 2, Blindsided by Messiah, written in Israel with the help of the King, you're a headless chicken. And you don't want to hear that. He says you will hear that. And he says you will apologize one day. I hope it's soon. Number 2. So you think I'm just bashing the White House? I'm not bashing the White House. I'm pointing out absurdity in the White House. And now I'm going to go to the other side of the equation, because if you're Republican and you're conservative, you're likely agreeing that Joe Biden and the White House is ridiculous and they're headless chickens beyond. But number two is the good state of Florida. And I don't even have to mention the governor's name, do I? I'm not even going to mention his name because he can't figure out how to pronounce it anyway. So I'm not going to even try. You like that? Is that evil speech? No, I'm pointing out the truth. Florida, he's quoted as saying, is where woke goes to die. Woo! Are you clapping? Do you think that's good? That is so putrid and so awful. Do you see that that's awful? That his beautiful wife, the governor's beautiful wife, wore clothing that says Florida's where woke goes to die? Are you a headless chicken? Do you see how that's disgusting? Do you see that woke emanates from something godly within your soul? A godly soul. That's where woke comes from. Do you get that? It's misguided most often. Most often, people who espouse to be woke and want policy change, the policies are misguided. I agree with that. But saying they're misguided is a lot different than saying, die, woke people. Isn't it? Die, woke ideology. Do you see that? You don't see that. I'm sorry to say to you, you need to screw your head back on. You're a headless chicken. Number three, he said to keep going. I don't want to do this again. I'm not redoing it. I'm not a linguist. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a mom and a grandmother, and the king of the universe says, I'm Moshiach. That's who I am. I didn't train for this. I didn't study for this. I didn't even read the Torah, rabbis. But he says, I am his Torah. So keep listening. Don't be a headless chicken. Number three. I know, it sounds like I'm being nasty. He said, no. Those of you who know me, I'm not being nasty. I'm telling the truth. The king just gave me an amen. Anybody else giving me an amen? He said, yes, God bless you. You have at least part of your head screwed on. Number three, foul-mouthed speech, trash talking other groups and blaming them for all your problems. The left-wing media, the mainstream media, which is liberal, does that all the time, don't they? White supremacists, calling the other side names, chastising them as being racist. It's all their problem. All the problems are all because of them. All the crime in the liberal-run cities is all because of the Republicans. You watch the mainstream media? A lot of you do. The other media, the right-wing media, which someone the other day said to me, oh, you're watching the fringe right-wing media, Lori. What? What? Chastising the other media outlets who don't subscribe to the left-wing liberal ideology, right? So I listen to them. I do listen to them. I try to listen to all of you, but you're all headless chickens. So I listen to the conservative media and I hear them speaking evil about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and blah, blah, blah. That's what it sounds like to me. Wah, wah, wah. Chickens without their heads on. It's not going to get better that way. Do you understand blaming them and saying, well, if I was in charge, if my group was in charge, if the Republicans took the White House, we're home free. And no, we're not. I've posted about that. Have you watched that? A bunch of you have, he says. God bless you. It won't get better that way. Okay, so that's 3. Evil speech. This is not evil speech, but I don't have enough time today on this video to explain to you why it's not evil speech. But the King of the universe promises me it's not evil speech. I'm not personalizing this. I'm not doing this to take you down. I'm not calling you names to elevate myself because I know and you don't. I want you to know. I want to help you see. And when you start to see and reach for help, I'm there for you because you're not seeing it because you've had part of your brain cut out of your head. That's what it looks like. He says, no, you're actually very, very smart. That's why it's very upsetting to me to watch what's going on around the world. Very smart people are choosing horribly stupid things with their mouth, with their behavior. And he says, and I've said this online before, stupid comes from evil. That's where it comes from. Number 4, you idolize freedom, don't you? Freedom. America's the beacon of freedom. We're freedom fighters. We love our freedom, right? You idolize freedom, but you seek to control everyone else. You do that? Hashem just said, of course you do. You want to shut them down. You want to shut them up. You want to call me names. And that makes it so that you don't have to listen to me because you know you have it all right. And that to you is freedom. As long as you get your way and your ideology, your group, your religion, your people win, you have your freedom. And then you have the Republicans right now screaming and yelling, we must protect our liberty. The left-wing progressives are taking away our constitutional rights and our freedom. And on the other side, the left-wing liberal progressives are screaming and yelling that the Republicans are white supremacists and Nazis, and they're taking away our democracy. So I'm going to give you a little example of what that looks like, headless chickens. You want to hear it? By now, those of you who are listening want to hear it. Kamala Harris was giving a speech, and she said something negative about the right-wing fringe government of Israel who wants to do judicial reform and take away Israel's democracy. Oh boy, oh boy. She believes in a balance of powers, right? Oh yeah, she does. What? She has no right to speak about Israel's government because, by the way, Israel doesn't have a constitution. Israel's supposed to have the Torah, but we don't have a constitution. So she doesn't know what she's talking about anyway. But about a week ago, the Supreme Court handed down some rulings. One of them was overturning affirmative action. Oh, no good, foul, right? And what else did they decide? They decided Joe Biden had no right to give billions of dollars away in student debt relief, right? Oh, foul. So what do they start talking about? Sound like judicial reform. Oh, yeah. Hypocrites. Headless chickens. accusing Israel of judicial reform and removing democracy. And now they're talking about packing the Supreme Court so that the decisions handed down reflect their ideology and their beliefs. And that's freedom. But that's not really what freedom is. Do you know what freedom is? Do you know where freedom comes from? It comes from the King of the universe. And you are free at birth. And how do you have freedom? You have freedom to choose evil or good, God. And you don't know the difference right now because you're a headless chicken. And I'm trying very hard to wake you up, screw on your head, and be a godly soul, because this is not the way we're going to heal the world. How are we going to heal the world? One person at a time. You can start by learning where all these problems are coming from. I explain them in this book. Some of you have read this book and you understand. I'm not doing this to put you down. If I was doing this to put you down, I would have stopped a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, this is really ridiculous. How long is this going to take to get to you before you're going to want to heal the world? We're losing an entire generation of young people right now. Are you aware? Children are in trouble. People, we're in trouble. When are you going to stop being a headless chicken and listen to mom? Mom isn't trying to put you down. Mom is trying to give you a hand and help you see what's so clear to me. And I don't, for the life of me, understand what you don't see. But he shows me. And he says it comes from the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara. And I've explained this. I've posted, 650 videos. I've written the book of books that you need. And so far, a lot of headless chickens peering at me, mocking me. Yeah, right, sure. And I'm not stopping because I'm right now almost the Lone Ranger. There's a few of you who are watching right to the end. Don't you quit. Don't you become a headless chicken. I'm counting on you to help lead the way to heal the world, one person at a time. God bless you. This is for you. This chink in the armor. You need to start waking up and listening to mommy. Mommy wants to help save the children, but you've got to do the work. God bless you.